Hi, Kathy here from Kathy's Cute Creations. Today we're going to do the Cotton Cuts 2019, and this one is called Stratford. And here are my colors for this year. And I would have done this sooner, except believe it or not, I lost this in my sewing room. I hunted for 3 days to try to find it. Every time I came in here, I was looking through stuff trying to find it, and at the time that I got it, I put it in a pile because I had all this stuff laid out in the order I was going to do it, and then I turned around and got sidetracked and put other stuff out here on my table, and the next thing you know, it's gone. So I figured I'd had it sandwiched between fabric, but really I had it sandwiched between patterns. So anyway, we're going to get it done today. The email for the 2018 Cotton Cuts, which I just did, it's the directions on how to put it together. So that's what we'll be doing for that one. So let's get over here and I'm going to show you the pre-cut fabric so you can see it. Here's the shapes this time. Now before I begin this, as you can see, I have 2 different stitches on this fabric. Now this is an example. Somebody asked me my scant 1/4 inch. So the very first line is my scant 1/4 inch. And the way that I achieve that, on my foot right here, along this edge where this little piece of plastic is versus this piece of metal, when the fabric goes through there, and I can barely see it because this right here is the edge of it, that is my scant 1/4 inch. Now, on this machine, it's a lot easier to do a scant 1/4 inch than a 1/4 inch. See this 1/4 inch line? When you put your fabric on this, let's see if I can get it straightened. In order to get it underneath the machine, okay, let me see. Okay. Gosh, I'm sorry about all this wiggling. All right, so you can barely see that 1/4 inch. The fabric has got to go over that to be a 1/4 inch. So I've got to keep it lined up right there with that. That's why it's harder than if all I did, let's see if I can lift this foot for you here. Put it down right there. Let's see. Okay. So you can, I don't even know if you can, I'm so sorry about this. Hold on one second. All right, I've got the camera right up here. So my fabric is barely right here where this foot comes down on it. Bring it over here a little bit for you to see. Whoops, I put my hand right in front of the camera. See? See those teeth right here on my feed dog right here? So it's going right on the top of this. The left feed dog's grabbing it, but the right one's not. But when I get it in the 1/4 inch over this way, then it's like on the edge of that feed dog, because I don't even know as this right hand feed dog actually grabs it, because it is just like right on the edge. But that's the difference on this machine. So everybody's machine is going to be different. And like I said, trying to line my fabric up with this 1/4 inch right here, it's very hard, because on the foot, let me line it up here. I keep putting my hand in front of that camera. Move over here a little bit. So if you notice right here, I'm trying to get my fabric to go right underneath this silver here, trying to keep it on the line right here, because that's my 1/4 inch. See the 1/4 inch right there? The fabric has to go right over the top of that. So it takes a lot of practice to get that 1/4 inch for me. Where, like I said, the scant is a lot easier, because all I have to do when I feed my fabric in, I just have to keep it right here on the edge. It doesn't go underneath. Whoops, my hand's in the way. I'm sorry. It doesn't go underneath this. It stays on the plastic so I can actually see it as it goes through. I'm looking at the edge of it over here. I don't know if that's going to help you understand it on my machine. Now, on everybody else's machine, you've pretty well got to figure out how yours works. But mine's all based on this foot that I use. If I swap out this foot, then the 1/4 inch is the same because I'm going across this line, but my scant is not based on my foot. And that's how I look at my machine. To get my scant, I'm watching that foot. I just wanted to explain it to you before I got started on this cotton cuts. Well, if you're following along, it is asking us to first connect our C2 with our A2. So the C is the darker of these two colors. C is the purple, and A is this one here, sort of green, purple, pink, yellow. So it wants us to attach them. And it says that this month we're going to make 2 blocks the same for clue 3A and 1 block for clue 3B, and then clue 3 we make 2. So this is clue 3. Let's go ahead and get this started. And I am doing a 1/4 inch when I put this together. I'm getting a late start today because I had to do some running around this morning. And then I've started working on the project for my swap person. And it is going to involve one of those little, what were they called? Something tops. So what I'll do is I'm going to do part of it because I know y'all don't want to watch my handwork. But anyway, when I get done doing the handwork, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you what I've done so far and how I laid it out and everything in case you guys want to learn how to do something like that also. Oops, I need to have my foot up there. Okay. Now we're going to cut these apart and we're going to go ahead and we're going to iron them open. You want to be careful when you sew these because we are sewing on the bias in order to get this done. Here's what one of them looks like now that it's finished. And then it is telling us to take the D, which is this dark purple, and we're going to put it across the bottom. So I'm going to pin that now. Now we're going to sew these. Now these cotton cuts are pretty nice about cutting this fabric out correctly, almost as if it was cut out with one of those Quilt cuts machines, or the Quilt Go. So you wouldn't have to fold this in the middle in order to get it to match, which is what you would do with your own fabric if you cut it out, all your separate pieces, because they can get distorted and they can be different sizes based on how you cut them out. So I don't worry too much with this cotton cuts. They're pretty precise. Now we're going to cut these apart and iron them open also. And we're going to set them aside. Here's what these should look like when you get them done. Now we only have one set of rectangles left and we're going to put that at the bottom. Now we're going to iron them open. This is the way that they're going to look when they're finished. Now we're joining A5 with F1. Now we're going to be sewing these. So now I want you to take C2 and B2, which are these colors here. Light purple is the C, the dark purple is the B. Of course, it's the only ones we have left if you're following along. So we're going to pin them and sew them. And if you need more than 2 pins, go ahead and pin it, because this is the bias again. Remember, this is the part that stretches. So either iron your fabric or put your stabilizer, whatever you use on it. Now they want us to join step 1 and 2, which is what we just did. So now we have to break our thread, or cut our thread, not break our thread. And cut all these apart so we can iron them, and then we'll attach them, and I'll show you how to do that. Now we're going to pin the CB, which is the 2 purple, the lighter, and then the darker, to the A5, which is the square. Now also on this, don't forget you're setting your seams, and then you're opening them. And then on the directions here, it is telling us, so for example, step 1, which was this step here, it told us to press towards F. So whenever it tells you that, that's what you want to do. Otherwise, it's going to be your option to press either way, either direction you want, or your seams open. So it's just your call when it doesn't tell you which way to be going with it. And usually I will go open if it's not telling me. Otherwise, sometimes when you get going, you have to go backwards. You've got to press it the other direction when you get ready to put it all together. Okay. And we'll chain stitch this. Let's iron these open. Okay, so I just made a mistake because I did 2 of the last and I was supposed to do 1. So then I took this apart, and now I have to sew A, which before I had C and B together. Now it's A and B together. So I have to pin this. We're going to attach this to this because these 2 are supposed to be together. They're the same colors. So let me get those pinned. Now this is step 5. Next, it wants you to take C2, which is my light purple, and A2, which is my, I want to call it the green, the yellow, and they want us to sew that together. That is step 6. I'm going to iron this. Okay, so this was step 5, and this one here was step 6. So step 7 says to take our square, which is A5, and attach it to our last triangle, which is F2. So we're going to do that first. Now we're going to iron this open before we attach this little one here, which is the F1. It goes on the right hand side of our triangle. And that is step 8. Looks like that when you get finished. And now step 9 is combining. All right, so now what we're going to do in step 9 is we're taking step 5, which is this here, and we're combining it with the one that we just did. So it's going to look like this. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Then when we get done sewing that, we add the last piece that we have, which is that there. All right, let's sew this here. This block hasn't taken any time at all, even with me having accidents and having to take it apart and redo it because I'm not paying attention. It was 3-something when I started, and now it's, what time is it over there? It is 4:40 p.m. It was a little after 3 because when I got in here, I had to fix the clock. I guess we must have had my electric must have went out, or we had like a little burst of energy or something. And when it does that, only certain clocks actually end up blinking. And this is one of them, this little clock in here. I mean, I went in the bedroom, but I didn't even look at the alarm clock in there, so maybe it did it too. I don't know when that happened. Now we're going to iron this open, and that's when we're going to attach this other piece. Alright, let's go ahead and get this started. We're wrapping it up. Let's get this opened up. There we go. All 3 blocks are done. The top 2 are identical, and then the bottom one is the different one. I hope you like this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.